Good morning. Let's start the class with the prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhu Bhavaswaha, Tatsavitra Varenayam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Asto Ma Satgamya. तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गम्य मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गम्य ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सवीर्यं करवावहि तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहि ओम शांति शांति शांति. Today I'm going to talk about meditation. We need to give more time to meditation. I'm not talking about group meditation. I'm talking about personal meditation, our own sadhana. You have heard many times, this is saying from the scriptures, Manaiva Manushya Nam Karnam Bandh Moksha. Mind alone is the cause of bondage and liberation. Who tells us this? Yogis tell us. Several places in the Vedas it said. In the Bhagavad Gita, similar kind of a saying, Lord Krishna says too. As the mind, so the man. So we need to work on our mind. And for this reason, they say that meditation is the most important of the many tools yoga has to offer. So meditation is a tool, it's a technique, and we got to use it properly. But the length of time we should devote to meditate is left to each individual. So they say it's very important, but then you decide how much time you want to devote. And for most of us, meditation is an acquired taste that develops slowly. Very few people you will see that they are born with this kind of a hunger that need to meditate. We got to acquire this taste. It's only as we progress in our practice that the act of quieting the mind becomes more and more satisfying. If you already meditate, the prospect of lengthening your sitting time may seem attractive. Why? Because longer sitting times calm the nervous system. And our whole health depends upon the nervous system, even the physical health. And a longer sitting time will establish a more still and a tranquil mind. So it's not just only the nervous system, but the mind will become tranquil. If you are meditating already, you may have experienced some longer than usual meditations. And you might like to make it longer. This meditating for a longer time should become a rule rather than an exception. That's what we need to work on. But what is the problem in executing this? Because intellectually we all want to do it. We believe in it. We know the efficacy of it. But what is the problem? Why don't we do it? Because as soon as meditation starts to deepen, the old knee pain, it returns. So only during meditation that knee pain returns, not when we are walking on an island. Or when we are dancing on the dance floor, only while we are meditating. And how about our back pain? With all these pains, what happens? Your mind that holds the rest of you hostage. Because when it is threatened with something like this, and then status quo. What good will this do anyway? You start wondering. So in such cases, longer meditations do not prove to be better ones at all for our mind. Ancient texts describe sages who meditated for enormously long periods of time with no apparent discomfort or loss of attention. Take the example of that little boy Prahlad. After the death of his demon father, Hiranyakashipu, he entered into the state in which there is no mental modifications at all. No chitvritis, only supreme bliss, undisturbed by the movement of thoughts. He sat where he was like a statue. 1,000 years went by. He kept sitting. Now, certainly, in our case, 1,000 years sitting is not our goal. It is difficult for us to even know what sitting for 1,000 years might mean. At the moment, anything past 10 or 15 minutes may seem challenging. Then the question is there hope for more modest aim of reaching a little deeper stillness? Can we do it? Do we have that kind of a willpower, determination? The answer is yes. We got to believe in it. If you don't believe it, then definitely we are a failure right from the beginning. So we have to believe in it. Stretching your meditation time to half an hour or even longer is something you can definitely aspire to. Because the meditation lasting that long will quiet your mind and bring a deeper level of self-awareness than can be experienced in shorter sitting time. But how can this goal be achieved? The answer is that it will require working with yourself. A doable project that is very much worth the effort. Because where we are right now, we need to know what the benefit is before we spend some time into it. So then question is, how to get started? And here it is. First, you will need some solid reasons for sitting longer. A philosophy to support your practice. Keep these three themes in your mind. Cleansing, strengthening, and delight of being. Let's start with the first one, cleansing. We all know how pleasant it feels when you step out of the shower and slip into clean clothes. We experience that daily. A similar sense of feeling clean, but purely within the mind itself. It's not just an outer cleansing, but mental cleansing. Where does it come from? Sitting longer in meditation. How? Because you are shedding the attachments. When you shed the attachments to these worldly things, your mind is refreshed. Worries are not gems to be treasured. So we need to, the meditation helps us to get rid of those worries. Because normally what we do is we keep those worries and we like to display them at every opportunity we get. These worries, they burden us. They burden our emotional and cognitive energies. So that's why we need to rinse them off at a daily basis. So with the longer sitting time, the cleansing process reaches deeper into the places of the mind that normally lie unexposed. One of the great source books on yoga, the Yoga Darshan, Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, describes this more systematically. It says that when the mind is unfocused, we identify with the cares and concerns passing through it. But following meditation, our attachments feel less burdensome and our inner life is less distressed by endless replays of worries. So this is what we get when we sit longer in the meditation. The strength of our detachment is proportional to the strength of our ability to maintain a relaxed inner focus. So if somebody says, I cannot be detached from this world, or worldly worries, or the stresses, that really means that you cannot maintain a relaxed mind. Let me say it again. The strength of our detachment is proportional to the strength of our ability to remain as relaxed inner focus. Mental strength is another reason to consider extending your sitting time. So you got to tell yourself, and this self is who? Your ego. That I need to clean myself. I need to strengthen my mind. It is the same way that a muscle is strengthened by repetitions of a certain movements. The mind is strengthened by maintaining its relaxed focus for a longer period of time. So that's why your 10-15 minutes of meditation has to be lengthened on a regular basis. Your efforts to focus the mind also gather its energies. That is why when distracting thoughts arise, we should let them come and go without feeling them, without feeding more to them. And to maintain our focus on return to it, we have wandered. So if mind goes away, bring it back. Bring it back to the source who you are, or to the light within. The focus we use for meditation must be strengthened gradually. And the power to discriminate between distracting thoughts and the thoughts that support the meditative focus must be cultivated. So don't think that somebody will grace you with this. This is something you need to do it yourself. Gradually, slowly, with full faith. This is not a project for 5 minutes meditation. It takes time. Do not get disheartened if a mind is not in your control, even after doing so many months of, or even years of meditation. Keep doing it. Otherwise, it's the energies of our distraction that are strengthened rather than the mind itself. Thankfully, despite these challenges, we have all had moments when meditation seems to come easily, when concentration settles quickly into a groove and a joyful sense of surrender takes over. Sometimes it could be the place where you are, or anything happened in your life, just you can feel that. In the stillness that follows, the delight of simply being arises. And that is the third reason, which you got to give it to yourself. If you remember, the first one was cleansing. The second one, you want to strengthen your mind. The third one is delight of being. So this delight is the third motivation for sitting longer. Because this delight, you may not feel it in first 15 minutes. But if you get up after 15 minutes, you have not given yourself a chance to feel this delight. So longer meditations allow us time to return to a quiet sense of being. And remember, this is not a static experience. It is the experience of simply being in meditation that arises out of the process taking place within the mind itself. It's very dynamic. So concentration and detachment are the dynamic forces underlying it. Expansive like the presence of sky, lit by the light of self-realization. If you want to know this core of life, why not give yourself a few extra minutes to the method that bring you there? Because this is the reason we are here. We need to know ourselves. Man, know thyself. That is the goal. And this meditation gives us this experience. But meditation requires a technique. Remember that. It is not just sitting quietly. It is a systematic exploration of your inner mind. So if you want to sit longer, it helps to organize the method of meditation you use so that each step becomes a familiar inner activity. So if you're cleaning yourself, it's just like if you're cleaning the house, we should know where to start. What are we supposed to do? What tools we are using? The same way, this meditation too. So systematically, we need to do it. For example, when you attend to your breathing, you will need to understand the mechanics of your breath. At the beginning of each practice session, the quality of your posture will have very important influence on the way you breathe. So posture. So arranging your posture, you remember Lord Krishna in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he told us, keep your back, neck and head erect. He told us where to focus. He gave us technique very clearly, step by step. So arranging your posture, then monitoring your breathing mindfully are the two early stages of practice. That will steady your mind and relax your nervous system. But we don't want to leave ourselves only at that level. That's just a preliminary. Sitting straight, watching your breath mindfully. So once your posture and breathing are stable, they will definitely continue to serve as a foundation for your meditation. As it deepens, I want you to write down 5 stages in the process of meditation. Number 1, a steady posture. Number 2, relaxed diaphragmatic breathing. Number 3, relaxed inner spaces of the body. Okay, so it's just not only the outer, not only the muscles, but the inner spaces. That means you got to pay some attention to this body. You got to make sure this body is healthy also. Only a healthy body can be a relaxed body. Sick body cannot be a relaxed body. Relaxed inner spaces of your body. Number 4, mindfulness of the breath in the nostrils. Not from the mouth, through your nostrils. Number 5, mindfulness of the mind, resting in the sound of a mantra. Okay, and this mantra, mindfulness of the mind, resting in the sound of a mantra. So this mantra you don't repeat loudly or verbally. It's going on inside you, but be mindful of it. But you must ground each of these stages in both knowledge and experience. So that means you got to know what you are doing. And then you got to see what you are experiencing also from this. So you should know what you are doing. That way, when you meditate, your inner work will be productive each time. So this is a process of meditation. Beyond this will happen automatically, but this you got to do it purposefully. Then somebody says, how about the knees? Because they come in the way. Yes, you will have to figure out what to do about those knees. And probably your lower back also. Because these are the two areas people say that their mind goes towards that. They start to pain as soon as they sit down. Remember, patience helps. You can work with them in a variety of ways. Because sometimes in the initial stages, it sounds very tempting to select a meditation postures that looks good. Padmasana, Siddhasana. But if we have not practiced those, it could be very challenging. So resist the urge. You must sit in a comfortable pose. That's why Rishi Patanjali, what did he say? Sukham sthiram asanam. So you got to make sure that you're sitting in a posture which is comfortable, pain-free, rather than the one that becomes painful long before you are ready to finish your meditation. Consider sitting on a chair if you cannot sit cross-legged on the floor. And don't be shy about sitting your legs or shifting your legs in the middle of a longer meditation to remove the aches or pains. It's okay to do that. But try to build the tolerance in your posture. Try to sit at other times also on the floor. Wherever you can sit on the floor, sit on the floor. Even watching TV or eating or even doing some of your paperwork, sitting on the floor. So it's like you are training your body to sit on the floor for a longer period of time. I grew up in the ashram. There were no chairs. Forget about the sofa. No chairs. We slept on the floor, ate on the floor, studied on the floor, did our prayers on the floor, meditated on the floor. I found the memories I have about my childhood, there's no worldly richness can compare to that. Very rich childhood. So I'm not saying throw away your chairs and the couches, but try to sit on the floor if you want to enjoy your meditation or if you want to feel this delight of being which you are. You can support the back of your pelvis with a cushion if you need to. That's okay. And speaking of the lower back, remember to include in your daily yogasanas poses like nauka asana, boat pose. Anybody can do that. That strengthens your lower back. Utkatasana, that strengthens your lower back. Uttan padasana. All these asanas, you will build your lower back strength. Anybody can do these asanas. You may not be able to do it perfectly right now, but if you practice it, these are very easy to do and a great benefit to strengthen your lower back. Because the energy of the spinal column will enlist the muscles it needs to sit erect. And once you have strengthened them, until you do, keep practicing. And you will see that even if your back muscles are strong, you love to practice these asanas. And most of you have learned yoga from me. You know these names also, and you know how to do them too. If you're doing it, fine. If you're not doing it, start doing it. Because it is virtually impossible to lengthen your sitting time without sitting regularly. So this Hatha Yoga practice will help you sit regularly because there won't be a pain. Some people describe meditating for very long periods of time, 6 to 10 hours a day. It's kind of a meditation retreat. But if you are going for a retreat, doing 6 to 10 hours, and then most of the days you are not doing it, this is not helpful. But to be smart enough about it, understand it properly. Simply sit each day, just like we eat every day. We sleep every day, pray every day. We got to meditate every day. Choose a time early enough in the morning, before breakfast at least. Before you eat something for the day, meditate first. But if you cannot do it for some reason, select a time that allows you to be free for half an hour or more. Turn your phones off. See, morning meditation is helpful because you will not get disturbed. So half an hour or more. Some people worry that meditation before bedtime will keep them awake. That is not the case. So if you want to choose the time before sleeping, you can meditate at that time. But I would suggest do morning meditation and do evening meditation also. Why not 2 times? If it's so helpful, we eat more than once a day. Why not meditate more than once a day? Morning and evening. But do not do like a 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening. Try to lengthen both of them. Since what you do in your day determines what you will become, if you want to be a meditator, then daily meditation will make you remember that. If you keep a regular schedule, your meditation will naturally evolve and lengthen. Okay? Longer sitting times make sense when you're actively engaged in learning about meditation process. Okay, so the longer you do, the more you will know about your mind, more you will know what to do with it. In yoga, your efforts to sit longer in meditation, as well as to learn more about the aims and goals of meditation, falls under the heading Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya. That is the fourth of the niyams. You remember the first two steps on the Raj Yoga is Yam and the Niyam. And each one of them have 5 parts. Shauch, Santosh, Tap, Swadhyaya. That's why no matter which scripture we pick up, whether it's a Bhagavad Puran or any Upanishad or Mahabharata, meditation is mentioned. Even yesterday, when we read about that Rishi Vyasa, after pleasing his mother, doing a duty of a son, what did he do afterwards? He went into dhyan. Meditation is a dhyan. So no matter which scripture we pick up, so meditation. That's why Swadhyaya, I'm mentioning that it really, when we study, we know that how important it is to do practice also. So there is a theory and then there's a practical. So sitting in meditation is practical part of growing. So through the practice of Swadhyaya, you gain the taste of reality firsthand. Whatever scriptures are saying, whatever gurus are saying. And this begins with reading the words of those who have experienced this inner truth. That's why they have written about it from their truth. So it's a first-hand experience we are learning. And it continues by seeking out sages and teachers in order to listen to their words. And then what do? You contemplate on it, reflect upon it, try to understand. And then finally, meditation is the lab work. If we study, we contemplate, but then we don't do the practice part. That means you have not changed your theory part into the first-hand knowledge. You have to experience it too. So it is in doing the inner work of meditation that abstract concepts of truth becomes a reality. When you have experienced that there is a delight, and where the delight is coming from, where that shanti is coming from, where that bliss is coming from, if you have tasted it, that means you have experienced it. And that can happen only in meditation. Especially when that meditation has deepened so much that it has become samadhi. Yogic texts, they remind us that ignorance is not removed by half knowledge. Okay? So if we know it only theoretically, that's just a half a knowledge. That's why theoretical knowledge seems a burden. But when we have experienced it, that lifts us up. That gives us power. Just like they say, if a person is feeling cold, relief from cold cannot go away if you are just sitting in front of a painting of a fire. Okay? So experience of the warmth will come from the real heat, not from the painting. So seeking truth is not a matter of rational thinking. It is an inner experience. And that inner experience can happen during longer meditations. This is all the more reason to make a friends with your meditation seat. You should have a special place, a special seat where you can bring the fires of self-awareness to life by sitting near that a longer period of time. The minute you look at your meditation seat, you should be ready to do longer. Just like when we go to the kitchen or we go to the bathroom, we know what are we supposed to do there. The simple thing, when you sit in the near your altar on your meditation seat, you are ready to go within into those recesses of your self-awareness. So today I just wanted to talk about this meditation to lengthen your meditation. I cannot do it for you. I can do it only for myself. Hopefully you got some of your questions answered, or you got some enthusiasm to start your meditation on a regular basis. If you're not doing it, and if you're already doing it, lengthening the time of your meditation. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.